Hello, peeps. I am so excited to be on today with my not only a guest, but also a very good friend of mine. And so funny, we met in 2020, which at a time nobody was meeting anywhere. But, we had a bunch of crazy Christian girls that were like, we're going to go to this conference anyway. And all of us have stayed friends since that time. And so I feel like, when God tells you to go, you just go. And so today I'm so excited to introduce Christine Trimpe. She's an award winning author, speaker, joy seeker, and weight loss warrior. After living decades as a casual Christian, she picked up her Bible and Jesus transformed her life, resulting in 100-pound weight loss. Now her stories and coaching inspire, educate, and encourage women to shed the extra weight they've been carrying, literally and figuratively, to finally step into the joy they deserve. So, whether you need physical, emotional, spiritual healing, Christine is on a mission to help you fully embrace the life of freedom God calls you to live. Oh, Christine, I'm so excited to have you on here. Like I said, we met during 2020 at a CCC conference, and man, we bonded all those women, like we super bonded with each other. And that has just been a journey, just watching you grow your business and just seeing how your books have just transformed so many people's lives. And so I really wanted you to come on because I feel like we're at the middle of the year and so many people are still like, here we are almost into August, or by the time this is out, it'll be August. And they've gone through half the year again going, oh, I really want to get my health under control. I, want to lose some weight. I want to be healthier. I want all these things. I want. And yet they are sitting here. It's, halfway through the year and another year is going to go by and nothing is going to change. And so enter in you. I want you to start from the beginning because your story just blew my mind because I feel like whether we're climbing a mountain or just a mountain of emotion, this story was so impactful to me. So tell me, you were climbing a mountain with your husband or you were supposed to climb. What did you experience that day?
Well, first of all, Phyllis, thank you so much for the invitation. I have to giggle a little every time I listen to your podcast because you say, hello, peeps. And I'm like, I'm your peep. I'm your peep.
You are my peep.
I love that. I love that. Yes. It's such a special relationship that we were able to develop at that Christian Communicators Conference. And I know that we will be friends for life, ministry friends. So, yes, I'm so excited to be here today to share in the middle of the year, like you mentioned, because my heart's passion is for women to the ones that set out to do something about their health this year. Don't wait any longer. Don't wait any longer.
Yeah.
Don't wait 3 decades like I did and found myself sitting on a stump on the side of a mountain in Rocky Mountain National Park. My poor husband, he had set out a plan to go up this trail at Bear Lake to see Nymph Lake. And I thought when I looked at the mile marker, I thought, well, I could do that. It's like a half-a-mile trail, right? And then when we set up on the trail, stepped out on the trail, I looked straight up and I was like, oh no. And it wasn't very long before I ended up gasping in air, sucking in air, and I just could not go another step further. And I was so disappointed for my husband, but like physically, I just couldn't do it anymore. And so I told him to go on ahead without me. And he was like, are you sure? And I'm like, yes. I reassured him. I'm like, you can go. I'll just sit here. I'll wait for you. And in the time that he was gone, about maybe 45 minutes to an hour, I sat there, tears welling in my eyes behind my sunglasses. And I just remember saying a simple prayer like, God, I just want to feel better. Because I felt like, again, a huge disappointment to my husband. I couldn't breathe. Like I was
Yeah.
physically gasping air. But the heavier weight was like just this feeling that I continued to carry into I was closing in on the age of 50 at this time.
Wow.
And I felt like I just cannot go on like this. I do not want to sit on the sidelines of life anymore. I was 100 pounds overweight, classified as morbidly obese. I had been diagnosed with pre-diabetes, and I was going to be soon diagnosed with obstructive sleep apnea and fatty liver disease. And I had pain and inflammation. I had monthly migraines. I had daily headaches. I had cystic acne. I had acid reflux.
Oh,
And that's just to mention a few things, Phyllis. But you
that's
can just,
exhausting.
yeah, you can imagine the weight of that, and not just the physical weight. It was
Mhm.
so emotionally stressful, and I was living in misery. I was wearing a mask of happiness, and I never truly at that time experienced anything like joy, greater
Mm.
peace, all of those things that are like so wonderful to pursue in a healthy lifestyle. So that's where I found myself sitting on the side of that mountain. God, I just want to feel better. At that time, I had been feeling pretty hopeless about ever losing the weight, because that was like 30 years of living in either
Mhm.
a stage of being very overweight or obese, and now morbidly obese. So you kinda a girl kinda gives up hope at that point in time, and
Yeah.
I just thought, like, I was meant to be fat, and so I was carrying that
Mm.
around too. So, yeah, it was an interesting moment in my life for sure, one that I will never forget.
Yeah. So there was just a come to Jesus moment of like this has to change because literally you're living your life on the sidelines and you just came to a point where you were sick of it. So you start this journey of weight loss. So in the beginning, tell me what some of the biggest struggles were for you to get started.
Well, I had a huge hurdle in my mind, in my mental space, about my lack of sleeping well. And I
Mm.
knew that I needed a sleep study. I knew I had sleep apnea. I did not want to come home with a CPAP machine. It just felt uncomfortable to me. And no
Mhm.
one wants to wear a CPAP machine. Well, let me tell you, in hindsight, that was the very first important step I took in my health journey, in my healing journey, because sleep is so important. It's
Mhm.
so helpful when we're trying to lose weight, right? So the first
Mhm.
thing I did when I got home from that trip in Colorado was schedule a sleep study with a sleep doctor, and I made it right away. Like, get me in as soon as possible because I didn't want to give my chance to myself a chance to change my mind. So I had one a couple days later. Yes, I came home with a CPAP machine, and in hindsight, that was the first important step, because I learned that sleep hormones are so important. So that's really what
Mhm.
piqued my interest and my scientific curiosity in our hormonal health. And that's truly like the rabbit hole that I went down that began this transformation.
Wow.
Mhm.
So, how has God shown you how to manage this new normal now that you started this? Like, what was your journey like? Because you said you really didn't, you weren't reading your Bible, you weren't really
Mhm.
like a practicing Christian in the way that, most of us know. And so, where was the drive to draw God in and walk alongside you on this journey?
I have a funny story from my days of being a casual Christian. And by casual Christian, I meant I was raised in the church. I
Mm.
went to church off and on throughout my adult years. I took my kids to church because it was the right thing to do. And I didn't want to disappoint my parents or my grandparents. So, very casual approach. And I did
Mhm.
attend Bible study off and on. So, I would cram in my lessons, which I don't advise, ladies. Like,
Which
don't
almost
cram your
all of us have done at some
right.
point
We've
and
all
probably
been there,
still
done
do.
that. Yeah, we've all been there, done that, right? So we were doing a study one time, and it was a video Bible study, and I remember the woman leaning into the camera, and she was like, "I want you to pray to God to wake you up at 5 a.m. to get your time in the Word." And I was like, "Lady, you are crazy. I'm chronically exhausted. There is no
Yeah.
way I am asking God to wake me up any earlier than when my alarm goes off. And then I hit snooze 3 or 4 times before I had to get out of the bed. But that story just kind of, it stuck with me, and it came back as a
Mhm.
memory when I really believe that God has a wonderful sense of humor, because as soon as I got my CPAP machine and started sleeping better, I began waking up
Mm.
refreshed. And Phyllis, I used to probably set my alarm at like 7:15 to start getting ready to head out the door for work. Well, the Lord started waking me up without an alarm
Mhm.
somewhere between 5 and 5:30 a.m.
Fun.
Fully refreshed, energized.
He's
I'm
like,
like,
"Wake up."
"Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up." And what's a girl to do when you've got all this extra time on your hands in the morning, right? So did. I started picking up my Bible very soon after I got home from that Colorado trip, and after I got home
Mhm.
from having my CPAP machine. And I picked up my Bible daily, and I haven't set it down since. It is like the air that I breathe. It
Mhm.
satisfies every bit of my need, my all of I used to say that I was craving all the wrong things, or I say I was craving all the wrong
Mm.
things, filling all the holes in my soul, all the nooks and crannies with junk food and foods high in
Mm.
sugar and high in carbohydrates, and thinking they would satisfy, but they always left me longing for more. So God's word is really what is truly satiating and satisfying me, even in the trials and the temptations and the struggles. I know where I can run to for my help. He is my strength, my strong tower. So yeah, so kind of jokes on Christine, because now she's waking up. I've been doing this now for over 7 years,
He's like,
waking
I
up.
will give you rest and then I will wake you up. Which I
Right,
will say too is like, okay, everyone knows if you've listened to my podcast, I am not a morning person
right.
at all. Like, I mean, I may wake up at 5:30, but I'm like, no, I'm having
Yeah,
conversations with God going, no, I like the bed.
yeah,
I just
yeah.
want to sleep here a little bit longer. But I do get up. I always take my shower and stuff like that. I do get up every
Mhm,
morning and I do my Bible reading, my devotionals before I
mhm.
start the day. Now, do I do that nonstop every single day? No, there are some days when I miss, and I miss it when I do that. And so
Mhm.
I would say morning times, however you can get it. If it's 5 in the morning, 7 in the morning, whatever time, try to
Yes.
do it before you start your day. But if you're someone who just like maybe you're starting work at 5 in the morning, you're like, I'm not going to get up at 4 and start
Right.
doing that. Maybe you do something audio when you're on your way to work.
Mhm.
Maybe you have to do it at night. I don't think there's a specific right way to meet with God. I think however
Right.
that works for you, what I think we would say is meet with God daily and then
Yes.
talk to him throughout the day and really make him a part of your life. Like I'm constantly talking to God
Mhm.
about
Mhm.
all kinds of things, even when it's not. But I think that Bible reading is very important because I think, especially in these times right now, is that it's just so significant to see how history does repeat itself and how he brings other people through the struggles like eating, like the emotional side of eating. So
Mhm.
we all have these, I would say, triggers and things from our past that cause us to overeat and cause us to do the things we don't want to do, but in a way they're a comfort because they're normal. So we tend to go back to those bad things. And so food is a big part of that. And we all have to eat, right? So
Yeah.
we have to find ways to dig through that emotional side to say, why is that cookie bringing me comfort right now? Why do I feel like for me, I knew that if my mom was baking homemade cookies and I smelt that, as I
Mhm.
walked through the door, that I knew I wasn't going to get hurt that day or she
Mm.
wasn't going to go into a rage, right? And so warm chocolate chip cookies for me meant safety.
Mm.
So instead of having one, I'm having 6 or 7 of them
Right.
because, it's like that numbing kind of thing. So I think
Mhm.
that side of doing any kind of new food program, like any kind of a health journey that you're going on, you also have to tap into the emotional side. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I always warn my coaching clients, I'm like, the emotional part of this journey is going to be the most difficult. And this is where you
Mm,
really need to show up and do the hard work. So absolutely, yes. The emotional baggage that I carried, I didn't even realize the weight of it, until I
mm,
began releasing it and letting it go bit by bit, and as I was physically dropping weight, I was processing things and physically able to let things go. And now when I have memories pop up from my childhood and
mm,
I'm trying to work out, like, how did I get into this situation to begin with? It it's a huge process, which you understand because this is what you help women deal with every day. It might not be a weight issue,
mm.
but they're
Right.
certainly carrying something heavy on their heart that needs to
Mhm.
be dealt with. So yeah, it is the most difficult part of the journey for sure. Yes, but totally worth it. Totally worth it.
Mhm. So, what is your biggest advice for someone who really wants to start the health journey but feels like it won't work?
Oof, that is okay. Look, 30 years, that's where I lived. I lived 30 years like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So it is completely possible. And again, the mindset, the emotional, learning to regulate your emotionals is such important work. So I had to move. We all have to move through that. First of all,
Mhm.
we have to find our why, like why, and not just like why I
Mm.
want to bend over and tie my shoes. I want to climb up the stairs without losing my breath, or I want to fit into my jeans that I just bought 2 months ago that are too snug now. So we all have like those types of whys, but our deeper
Mhm.
why is, that is really the deep work. We have to go deeper with the Lord. We have to
Mhm.
be willing to allow him to elevate us to, even though we're going deeper and deeper into this, allow him to elevate us to the point where we can fully surrender. We can trust
Mhm.
him. I coach my clients through this process of surrender and sacrifice, because like what Hebrews 12 is talking about, we have this great cloud of witnesses. We have these people of faith that we can model, and we are called to run this race with endurance. And I love the part where it says, throw off everything that hinders us. Everything, not just some things, but everything that hinders us. And so I had this visualization in my mind, and I still do to this day. Like when I'm
Mhm.
in a great fat burning state, I picture little fire flames going around my body, burning
I
fat,
love it.
right? And I picture run. I don't like to run. Don't misinterpret this. I do not like to
Not
run.
a runner.
Not a runner, but I do picture myself running and throwing off, like seeing the things drop off of me, like the weight of the guilt and the shame
Mm.
and the teasing and the
Oh, that's
bullying,
good.
all the things that hurt my heart, when I was a kid, even as an adult, So I
Mm.
just love to visualize all that stuff. And again, it's a renewing of the mind, just like the word talks about too. And God promises us that He will help us with that.
Mhm.
But I have a bit of an unusual advice that you probably have never heard somebody say this before, but in hindsight, and also what I've been trained in my, I'm going to be a licensed practice sugar assessment practitioner very soon. I'm in the training right now, and I'm
Wow.
also being trained in holistic medicine. And what I
Nice.
learned, and in hindsight, this is exactly what I did. I got the food part right. I
Mhm.
began making good food choices and nourishing food choices, picking nutrients that were going to fuel my body well, as opposed
Mhm.
to sugar and carbs and processed foods and seed oils and grains and all the things. And it was amazing how much better I felt when I was eating right. So I
Mhm.
was I was, moving along, making good choices for my health, not even really focusing on my mental game, my mental health at that time. And now, what one of the things that I recommend to women who maybe were a food addict or a sugar addict and they want to break free from that, like me, I'm a
Mhm.
recovering sugar addict, is to get the food choices right first, because the
Mm.
eating whole and healthy foods does help. It does help improve our mental health. It helps improve
Mhm.
our physical health. And then then I moved into the emotional health and dealing with all of that. And so that's also what's recommended when I'm coaching women. Most all of my clients are food addicted, sugar addicted, carb addicted.
Mm.
So let's get the food choices right first. And So here's another little bit of advice is to just think of it this way. I can give you a grocery shopping list. I can tell you what to eat, what not to eat. But the simple tip is to shop the perimeter of your grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
That except skip the bakery.
Yeah.
So the perimeter of the grocery store
Dang
is
it.
yeah, right? It's
There's
gonna be
salami on the perimeter too. So.
yeah, I mean, I don't usually eat a lot of processed meats. I'm not like super hyper vigilant about that. Every once in a while I might have some salami, but yeah, that's where you're going to find the food that God created in its
The
natural
fresh
state.
food. Yeah,
Yeah.
such a
Yeah.
big thing. So
Mhm.
tell us a little bit about your program because I know that there's probably women going, I want to sign up with her. I need
Right.
help.
Yes. And I would love to have you because as a recovering food, sugar, carb addict, and, you know, the journey I went through, the Lord gave me a really fun name for it. And so I named my coaching program this, and my book that's coming out is named this Sugar Freed. And I hope that women get the implication of the freed part. That's the emphasis
Mm,
because my coaching program is faith-based. It's very biblically rooted on scripture, what God has in his word for us. His word, like I wasn't reading his word regularly for 30 years. In fact, I probably read his word like 10 times a year over those
wow.
30 years.
Yeah.
But now daily, I see it's the best guidebook that we have. So I have this coaching program that is faith-based for Christian women. It's a 13-week program designed to help you get the food choices right. Learn about fasting. What is the health benefits of fasting, physically and spiritually? Do the deep rooted work through the feelings. And we do incorporate a little fitness, even though, again, I'm not a runner. I don't ask people to run,
Do
but it's
Pilates, it's fine.
right, exactly. I love to move my body now as an act of
Hmm.
worship because I couldn't move my body before. That's why I
Yeah.
was sitting on the side of that mountain. So, and it's all grounded in faith. And
Mm.
I love to link arms with women. I actually get tears in my eyes in each group
Mm.
coaching call. I'm sure you know what that feels like
Yeah.
when
So
these
good.
women are being set free. Yes, it's just so good. So, yeah, it's I don't know. I'm seeing women lose 10, 20, 30 pounds or more in their time with me. And I can't even put words to it, Phyllis. I just can't put words to it because I want my heart's passion is for women to experience the same thing that I did. I don't want them to sit on the sidelines of life for 30 years like I
Right.
did. Mhm.
And I will say one more thing too is that I don't want women to hate their bodies now.
Mhm.
I think it's really important to have you hear this that your body is working where it is right now. So you may not be able to climb a mountain, but go take a walk down the block. Realize that God has given you a good body, no matter what that body looks like. Because I also think that we have this society that says you have to look a certain way in order
Mhm.
to be accepted. And I think what we are talking about is more health wise because you named out all the things health wise that were going wrong with your body, but
Mhm.
also moving your body like every day where you are right now, like getting some fresh air, like realizing you have arms and legs, you have lungs that can breathe, like you have these
Mhm.
things right now. Love yourself where you are, and just know, like, if you want to improve on that,
Mhm.
Christine has the answer for you. There is a way to do that in a loving way that is not saying you're not good enough. It's just saying if you're unhappy where you are, we have something that can help you get to the next step. So I've come to this realization at being, almost 67 in 2 more months. And I'm like, my body has changed over the years. And so
Mhm.
there's been this like hard stop for me of like, I don't believe in diets anymore. I
Mhm.
had a hard conversation with my girls where they were just like, Mom, we're in the 80s and it was like everyone was on a diet. Everybody had to lose weight. Everybody had to look a certain way. You have to be a certain size. And anything outside of that square was wrong, and you were ugly and you were not accepted. And So I've come to this realization. I woke up like at 66 and I was like, how many more years do I have to be on a diet and lose those 10 pounds like year after year after year? It's not working. So I had to get to a place where it was like, I have lived a good life, but I have let things pass me by because of my weight. Or
Mhm.
I will look at a picture and go, how many times do we look at a picture and go, "Oh my God, I look so fat." But it's
Right.
like, are we enjoying the moment too? So I think we have to get to this place where it's like we are beautiful human beings. We are good. But
Mhm.
what we're talking about is like health wise, if you're having health struggles and this is impeding on your life, or you are, no, I can't get on a plane because I'm too heavy. No, I can't go for a walk with my friends because I'll run out of breath. No, I don't want to go to this party because I literally don't have anything to wear. You are
Mhm.
sidestepping your life. That's not where God wants you. Like, He wants you in this beautiful place where you can enjoy life fully where you are, and then keep moving forward to find a place where you're content and happy. So
Yes.
I've gotten to this place where my weight is not where it used to be, but I am moving. I'm
Mhm.
doing all the things. I'm eating well. I'm just like you. Like, I found those natural foods, like stay away from the processed foods, eat those natural foods as much as possible to feel better. Because let me tell you, when you get older, stuff starts to hurt.
Right?
Things get
Right.
inflamed. You're like, what is
Yeah.
going on? And
Yeah.
so it is a real thing. And I am not going to be a person that's like 80 years old that cannot get up and take a walk. Like, I,
Right.
I refuse.
Right.
Like, I will not be
Yes.
that person. So it
Mhm.
has nothing to do with weight. It has to do with how do you feel? How are
Yeah.
you feeling? Can you live life to the fullest? And
Right.
Christine has some answers for you guys. So if you're
Yes.
interested in that, where can they get in touch with you?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I just want to share real quick that as I take women through the coaching program, they think that what they need is weight loss. But what
Mm,
they end up realizing is they needed a total heart transformation when it comes to their health
yes.
and wellness and how God has called them to live a healthy
Mm-hmm.
lifestyle for his glory. And I always say, when you show up, God's going to show off. And they think they're
Yeah.
showing up for weight loss, which is amazing, which is
Yeah.
beautiful. Like, yes, but the weight loss is a side benefit
Yeah.
of this surrendered life, right? Of this sanctification journey that
Yeah.
if God is calling you to it, I invite you to connect with me. I have a free guide for you called Crush Your Cravings. I learned in the early parts of my journey that I had been craving all the wrong things. And I was
Mm,
physiologically craving sugar, I was psychologically craving junk food.
mm,
And so I learned that we can crush our cravings and that we
mm.
can rewire our brain. God can flip the cravings of our life. So I invite you to get the Crush Your Cravings guide. You can grab that at crushcravingsguide.com. And Phyllis is also going to put the link in the show notes, I'm sure. But I would
Yes.
love to connect with you. That's a free gift for everyone. Just to kind of see, like, give you some food for thought. And the guide
Mm,
explores your physical health, your emotional health, your spiritual health. Where are you at with your cravings? And what are you
mm.
craving? And is it serving your health and wellness well?
Great. And
Yeah.
yes, we will put all of her links in the show notes so you'll be able to get in touch with her. And you're on all social media, right?
Pretty
So
much.
yeah,
Yes.
you can reach her, Christine Trimpe, which will have her name below, and
Yes.
you can get in touch with her. Christine, this was so good. And like I said, we
Oh,
will have you back on when your new book comes out in the new
yeah.
year.
Yay.
We will have
Yes.
another conversation, but you and I will see each other.
Yes. Yes.
So we'll see each other soon. But thank you so much, friend, for sharing this beautiful journey. I'm so glad that you are sugar free and you are healthy. And we took a walk on the beach last
Yes, we
February, and
did.
we're going to be doing that again in
A
another
long
beach
walk.
retreat. Yeah,
It
long
was
walk. It was
very
2 miles.
it was, and then we got
Yeah.
so far and we were like, "Wow, I guess we better
We,
turn around."
we were chit chatting and
Yes.
we were
Yeah.
like,
It was
whoa, we went
awesome.
too far.
It was a great memory.
It
Yeah.
was. All right, friend. Well, peeps, until next time, we will see you later. Thank you so much for joining us. And make sure that you check out Christine Trimpe's all the things, social media, her free guide, everything. And until next time, we'll see you soon.